Legendary former 4 division champion, the Filipino Flash, NONITO Donaire Jr., who is now 42 years old, is back in the sport of boxing for a final title run, and is facing Chile's Andres Campos for the interim WBA Bantamweight title this month of June, and it's going to be on June 15, Sunday. Donaire, who now has a record of 42 wins, 8 losses, 28 victories by knockout, will return 1 month shy of a 2-year layoff, and after consecutive defeats for the first time in his illustrious career, having caught the itch to box again after watching former foe Naoya the Monster Inoue's dramatic stoppage win over Ramon Cardenas back in May 4 this year. Boxing Scene first reported the fight booking taking place on June 14 in the US, while 15 in the Philippines, as part of the WBA's annual Knockout to Drugs Festival at Casino Buenos Aires in Buenos Aires, Argentina. It'll be the second of 2 shows they promote in the country's capital that weekend, with a June 13 bill to be arranged or to be announced. On a weekend where Manny Pacquiao was in Las Vegas completing media obligations as part of the preparations for a surprise WBC welterweight title shot against Mario Barrios, his compatriot will fancy his chances against Campos, who is moving up in weight again. A Hall of Fame lock when he does eventually pull the curtain on his career. Donaire also will be in attendance at the IBHOF's annual induction weekend as a celebrity guest. Donaire's opponent, Campos, has a record of 17 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 6 victories by KOs, has experienced mixed success since losing a 12-round unanimous decision to the then unbeaten Sonny Edwards for the Brits IBF flyweight title in June of 2023. The 28-year-old is now 2-1-1 with a pair of knockout victories since then, though campaigned at a junior bantamweight for his last 2 appearances and will go up another 4 pounds here. Joselito Velasquez became the first to stop him by scoring a 6-round stoppage in October 4th in Cancun, Mexico, before the Chilean fared better among home comforts with a 3rd-round finish of 25 pro fighter Jimson Garcia last April 12. Alexandro Santiago outpointed Donaire over 12 rounds by a scorecard of 116-112, 116-112, and 115-113 in their vacant WBC Bantamweight title fight on the Terence Crawford vs. Errol Spence Jr. undercard back in July of 2023, 13 months after Inoue dismantled him during their 3-belt unification rematch at the 118 pounds. Inoue has boxed 7 times since then, completing undisputed championship status at bantamweight and later junior featherweight, as the Japanese star continues to flourish with more big challenges, starting with Murodjon Akhmadaliev on September 14. Meanwhile, Donaire's lengthy absence was not all his own doing, with a targeted showdown against fellow legendary former champion Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, previously mooted for the WBA's interim belt. Nicaragua's Gonzalez is 5 years his junior, ended a 19-month layoff by stopping Colombia's Robert Barrera in the final stanza of their 10th round contest in July. Talks were ongoing, though the fight never materialized, and Donaire entertained other options. Seiya Tsutsumi of Japan was being downgraded from full champion to champion in recess last month set the wheels in motion for Donaire to be presented with a secondary title bout, though Antonio Vargas was elevated after winning the interim crown last December and against the unbeaten contender Winston Guerrero in Florida. He already stated his desire for big fights. Donaire, even at this stage, would enhance his resume, while a unification with WBC title holder Junto Nakatani is of interest. The 27-year-old southpaw from Japan just won his big fight unification bout last weekend versus compatriot Ryosuke Nishida by a TKO in the 6th round of the 12-round unification bout. It was a great fight, great performance from Junto Nakatani. Donaire has twice set the record as the oldest fighter to win a Bantamweight title. This was last November of 2018 and May of 2021. Wow, the Filipino Flash is coming back in the squared circle, man. At the age of 42, after a 2-year layoff, man, Nonito, just like Manny Pacquiao, still has no plans to hang up his gloves. Nonito is too legit to quit. Come on, Donaire. He still has big plans to add more accolades. I hope he will succeed, though I want him to retire and hang it up because, like the saying goes, boxing is a young man's sport and Father Time is undefeated. It is a fact and it is not a myth. It has been proven throughout history. But who am I to tell these legends like Manny and Nonito on what to do to their career? I mean, if there's someone who knows when is the right time to walk away from the sport, it's them. All I have to do is support them. I wish them nothing but the best, and hopefully they will succeed. Every true boxing fans, hardcore boxing fans, know that Manny is coming back on July 19th. But I want to focus here on Nonito since this video is about his upcoming fight this coming June 15. So just a few days from now, it's Nonito's turn to return in the sport of boxing. Nonito is fighting in Argentina against the Chilean fighter in Andres Campos. Now, I have to admit that I never heard of this guy prior this bout has been announced, and I am not the type of person who pretends to know everything. I haven't seen his highlights as well, but recently I checked his record on BoxRec, and it's kind of decent, though he only has 2 defeats. One came from a 6th round TKO lost against a Mexican fighter. Now Campos is also not a KO artist. He only has 6 knockouts in his 17 wins. So in terms of power, skills, and experience, so most definitely Nonito Donaire definitely has the edge. But the activity, the activity matters in boxing. And Nonito, besides being 42 years old, he had a 2-year layoff, which is not good on his part. He might be having a ring rust due to his inactivity, but who knows? Maybe Nonito can find a way. Maybe he's training hard and he's still in a top condition. So Campos also has the youth advantage. He's only 28 years old, 14 years younger than his opponent in Donaire. So we will see if Nonito, the Filipino Flash Donaire, can still get it done, and we'll see if he will lose. I think it's time for him to retire. Nonito is already an accomplished fighter, a legend. He captured major titles in multiple divisions. He has nothing to prove anymore, and he is a sure ballot Hall of Famer in the making. But only Nonito knows he still has an ambition to achieve more championships to further cement his legacy in the sport of boxing. So we will see what happens this coming weekend. Thanks for watching, boxing fans.